Hey guys, so what's going on? I just wanted to make a quick video to tie into the last one. I've kind of already started on the B20 VTEC build, as I think I showed the block in the last one. If I didn't, this is it here, and as you can see, the bearings are in pretty decent shape, or the crank is in very decent shape. The rods and pistons are over here. So if you want to have a look at that, you can see, well, it's kind of dark in here, but I can bring it over into the light. You can see the bearings are, they've got some wear, but they're actually, I was pretty impressed with the with how good a shape they were in overall. So what's going to be happening with the rods and pistons is, I don't know, can't remember 100% at this moment if I explained it in the last video, or if you haven't seen this video, I'll just re-explain it. So anyway, I'm getting YCP high comps pressed onto these and ARP rod bolts. I don't plan on boosting this at any point soon, and if I do, I will upgrade the rods. But for the amount of power I want to make now, these rods should hold no problem. So we're going to do with the YCP high comps, and with the 20 thousandths I had taken off of the cylinder head, which is over here and looking super nice. With the 20 thousandths I've had taken off of this and the YCP high comps, I should be sitting somewhere around 13 to 1 compression, depending on if I did get the block decked and resurfaced. So yeah, I just want to show you guys basically the porting, because now I don't think I showed the oil pan off this yet in the last video, but I might have. I don't really remember at this exact second time, but I'll show you what I'm doing with the ports. So like I said, I'm blending the bowls, and I've just got like a regular auto work light kind of thing that you get from like Crappy Tire. And we're starting with the intake side, and the reason that this light works, like from your guys' view, it's going to look a little bit blue. From my view, it is a little bit blue, but it's just, I can see perfectly in there, inside the port, to get it done. And if you look down in the port, and you look beside the bowl where it's a little bit black there, that's actually cast that hasn't been touched yet. So I'm basically just doing each port as far as I can get in with the Dremel, doing 2 at a time, kind of working them both until they're both even and both look the same, and I feel like I've taken an even amount of material off of the every section of or every area of the port that I am taking more material off. Like most of it, I'm just taking the rough cast off, but like where the really rough cast lines are from the factory, not just the rough cast itself, the lines, they're a little tougher, so that you got to go a little deeper with them. And basically, what I'm trying to do is match these 2 at the same time, and just do a very light port, clean everything up, and I'm going to just do it on every one and try to keep it as even as possible. And with a light port like this, you really don't got to worry, because you're just getting rid of rough cast. You're not really opening them up or making them huge. You're just smoothing it all out and making it flow nice. But I am very happy with how it's going so far. This is the first cylinder head I've actually ported. I've did intakes, I've did throttle bodies and other stuff, but this is the first one I've ported. So it's going to be, well, I'm not going to go into full detail of what's going to be done to the build, to the head, when this build is finished, because there's going to be a few things I want to keep secret. Usually cams. That's what everyone usually keeps secret, but I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm doing cams right off the bat. For the start, I'm definitely running the stock B17 cams, because they work good and they pull hard up to 78. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. And I guess the next thing is I'll show you guys once I get the intake and the exhaust sides all done. And yeah, so this is going to be a pretty fun build. And with the porting, I think, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but if I can get an exhaust gasket, I'll probably port match the exhaust side, just because it's not any bigger than a B16 exhaust side or anything. So I would like to port match the exhaust side at least, and blend it in with the bowls and polish it, so it's very nice and smooth and has like very good flow to get the exhaust gases out. And then the intake side, I'm just going to do exactly what I'm doing now, and that's pretty much going to be it. I don't think I'm going to go any further with the intake side, and if I do, it will just be getting rid of the rough cast and not actually opening the port up. So we'll start with this for now, see how this goes, and then go from there. It is pretty time consuming, so obviously it's going to pay off, and if one down the road I wanted to switch rods and pistons and go boosted, you know, it's going to benefit a lot. But that being said, I definitely am curious to see what the difference will be on the dyno, because obviously when I take to a dyno, they have experience with tons of different LSVTEC setups and motor setups, so they should have dynoed something similar to mine without a ported head, and we'll see what the difference is with a ported head. So hopefully, we gain 10 or 15 horsepower with cams or something in the high compression, but we'll see. I don't think it's really not that big of a gain. You really start noticing the differences when you start pumping boost into it, and you don't need as much boost to make the power that you want to make, which is nice. So yeah, I'll show you guys once we're finished up the ports. Other than that, I don't really. Oh, I'll show you guys what I'm using for porting it. So I'm using a sandpaper wheel, the smallest one you can get, and I got it on. Obviously, this is a 1-speed Dremel. It doesn't have any option for another speed, which kind of is actually nice because you know that you're always doing the same speed, so you're very, very careful on the ports. And I find I'm a little more accurate with it because I'm more careful. But yeah, these are rougher grit. These are smoother grit. That's my lighter. Don't worry about that. Anyway, so I'm starting with the rougher grit, and it seems to be actually a pretty smooth grit right now. So I don't know if I'll go down any smoother because I'm not trying to polish the intake side. I do want it to be a little bit rough to help with the atomization, or the mixture of the fuel. I guess help atomize the fuel better, if you want to call it that. I think that's the term. But anyway, so that's what I'm using to port it. I also got some other stuff. I got some stone wheels down there, but I don't have oh, you can't see those ones. I don't have any need for these right yet. These are more if I'm trying to take off a lot of material and open the ports up, like for the port matching. But the sandpaper seems to be working really well, and I like that, so I'll probably stick with that. And like I said, on the intake side I want it a little bit rough. On the exhaust side I want it to be nice and polished. So yeah, we'll see how she turns out, and we'll talk to you guys in a few. Alright guys, so what's going on? I just finished getting the intake bowls all blended. I'll kind of walk through here, maybe if I can get a good camera view on it. See here. That's a little better. Okay, so I'll walk through the bowls so you can see those two first ones, those two, and I'll have to flip the right around for the last two. So you can see they all turned out quite good. The lighting in here sucks, and I haven't touched the exhaust side yet. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. For my first time porting the bowls, actually, I'm really impressed with the intake side. Intake side's a little bit easier. I ended up taking actually quite a bit of material off in the long run. I guess it was like, I shouldn't say quite a bit. It was mainly just all the rough cast dust that I was seeing, but I did end up, smoothing all the rough stuff out going from the valve down in, and that should help quite a bit. That's just the intake side. The intake side's already huge on the GSR, so the exhaust side I have to do the same thing, but I'm going to take, I think I'm going to do the exhaust gasket and actually port match the exhaust and polish it. So the exhaust side has to be a lot smoother and like polished so it can, it flows the exhaust out quicker kind of thing. The intake, you want the fuel to mix well before it goes into the combustion chamber, and the exhaust you want to get it out as quick as you can. So, but that's it for tonight, guys. I just want to show you that quickly, and I think tomorrow I probably won't make any more videos on the rest of porting this. I'll probably just finish it and show you guys once the head's all completely back together and finished. I just want to take you along though and show you kind of what I've been doing and stuff. So yeah, shortly we'll have some cool stuff going on here. My buddy wants to turbo his Tib, so Tiburon, he wants to do a homemade turbo kit on that, so we'll see what happens there. And yeah, subscribe and leave a comment if you have any questions or anything. Have a good one, guys.